why high school students should do research or can they do research in high school. So the thing is that what we always teach our students is that it's not about finding a cure for cancer. It's always about finding the one niche that you are interested in, that you're curious about, right? And then you answer that. That's it. We help you formulate, give you the whole process, give you all the frameworks, give you the whole funnel as to what are the steps to do research. But yes, you can do a research if you're a high school student, but don't try to solve cure for cancer or superconductivity. You don't have to do that. Just try to find one thing that you are interested in. I can give an example actually. So one of our students last year, avid football player, interested in Barcelona, wanted to apply for economics. We suggested him that he should do a research paper around football only, right?
Okay.
And then what he did was he figured out that, okay, there are a lot of football transfers happening across the year, right? So what should I do? Is there an impact of one player moving from one country to another? And then we were like, okay, can you add details to this? And then he was like, okay, if the impact, is on forwards, on defenders, on midfielders, on goalkeepers, and then do the value increase? Does it decrease? What is the percentage of people who are actually doing good, right? So he was passionate about that. He wanted to study economics, so a lot of statistics was also there. And yeah, it was a fun process for him as well. And again, he didn't try to, do something fancy. He did something that he liked. Even if you talk about college applications, that's what matters. What matters is that does it flow perfectly into what you want to do, right? Are you curious about it? Are you motivated about it? Rather than, oh, I have done something this big. Yes, you have not. You've just done some shadowing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing a couple of important points that you shared. Number one, I think it's so interesting, and we want to dispel the myth that to conduct research, you necessarily have to be interested in the sciences or STEM. And in fact, every academic discipline has serious research being conducted, whether that's in the field of economics, history, politics, English, right? You can ask questions about the world around you, no matter what field you're interested in, and demonstrate that love of knowledge for knowledge's sake. And from the perspective of college admissions, obviously being the friendly neighborhood college counselor, I'm also thinking about how this positions a student as different from the rest of the applicants. And I think that the ability to conduct one's own research project not only showcases the values that highly prestigious universities are looking for, like intellectual curiosity and vitality, but also the preparedness for college level rigor and the research that they will invariably go on to do in college. So to the ability to display these skills, as well as to follow through on a relatively hefty project, right? To start from the beginning and see it all the way through till publication and even presentation at a conference shows a lot of maturity, I would say. That's something that is going to help you through the college admissions process, although that should not be, of course, your primary motivation and your sole reason to conduct research, but it's certainly a bonus. And how would you recommend a student maybe who's watching to start? Where do I identify my research question and that gap? How do I know that it hasn't already been answered?
That's a very interesting question as to where should I start? Again, as I said, start with yourself, right? And I'll give you an example, because you also talked about that. Can humanities student, can social science student, can they also, indulge in any kind of research? I think they can, and they should definitely do, because a lot of our world is run by politics and social science and economics. And I can give a very interesting example, right? So I think there is something happening in Argentina in terms of changing of governments. So the valuation of the Argentinian pesos has gone to 800 for $1, right?
Wow.
Now all the Argentinians who are living in the US, it is getting difficult for them, especially students who have gone to US to study, right? Now if you are interested in the politics and economics together, you can work around, how does it affect and what is the impact of dollar on all these events, right? So that's one. Again, as I said, you have to look around you, right? So we are in India right now, right? And India hosted G20, but India also is a part of a bloc called BRICS, right? Now, if you are a student interested in international relations, what you can do is you can look for, okay, what is BRICS about? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, right? How are these 4-5 countries important? If you add the GDP of all 4-5 countries, it actually is a very big percentage. If you add the young people who can work of all these 4-5 countries, it's a very big number. So that's just economics. But let's say you're interested in geopolitics. Now BRICS, what they're doing is they're also adding more countries, right? And now we can actually talk about BRICS is present in Africa, BRICS is present in Asia. They hold the most important trade routes, and all the new members, they hold some of the biggest oil producing countries. You can, do some research around that. Like a fun fact, we were talking about moon landing very recently. On the moon, there are 3 BRICS countries that are present: China, India, and Russia. Only US is the non-BRIC country, right? So the impact of BRIC country on the new world order is something that you can think about, you can research about, and write a paper about, right? And you can find multiple ways to write about it, obviously. So yeah, so you just have to look around and you'll find something for sure.
Wow, very interesting. My biggest takeaway from everything you've shared is that all of the work of research starts within, right? To turn inwards and to really ask yourself those deep questions about what enlightens that kind of fire under you to learn. What is the topic that you can fall down a rabbit hole researching Wikipedia pages till 3 a.m. about that topic, and the thing that you can talk for hours and hours on end about until your friends kind of go blue in the face, and follow that, right? Like go where interest and curiosity is organically flowing, as opposed to kind of forcing yourself into something you think you should be researching for the purposes of college admissions, or, something that your parents or your teachers have told you that you should do, right? Very interesting. So for the purposes of our students who are all over the world, right, who may not be situated near a tech lab or near a chemistry lab, or who may not have access to high-level facilities, can they still conduct research? And if so, how do they go about the process of gathering data, verifying its source credibility, and then after that, analyzing it, right? What are some tools available to students, no matter where they're situated in the world, for them to derive some novel insights out of their research?
I'll answer this in a way that, why are we doing research? Number 1, I am curious about certain things and I want to know an answer for this particular thing, so I'm doing research, right? Second, there is a possibility that I will talk about my research in my application, right? Now, what these admission officers or what these colleges are looking for, they're looking for people who are interested in the world, right? Who are interested in the future of different disciplines that are around us, right? So if you don't have a tech lab or a research lab with you, it's fine, not a problem at all, right? What you can do is you can go online, you can go to Google Scholar, you can have a hypothesis. Again, there is a possibility that you may not know what kind of hypothesis I want to work on. You can go to websites like Scientific American, right? You can go to American Scientist, you can go to Freethink, right? You can look at what is it that's happening in the world right now, let's say in terms of healthcare, right? So cancer is a buzzword in healthcare and a lot of people are looking at cancer from different points of view, right? So what you can do is you can look at, okay, in cancer, I want to see the impact of neutrophils. And if you're a biology student, you will understand what neutrophils are, right? So the impact of neutrophils on cancer, right? Type it on Google Scholar, look around, see what are the most recent trends, what are the most recent research papers, read them, write about them, and then write your own synthesis about it as well. That, okay, this is what I've learned from this, and this is where this whole field is going to, right? And this is what my expectations from the whole field is. You can do that as well, right? And it is as good as you going to a lab and, working. If you don't have a lab, I mean, it's not your fault, right? So if you don't have a lab, just do this, right? Because writing such paper is also a rigorous task. It requires a lot of rigor, a lot of hard work, a lot of analysis of different papers. So it's not like that if you don't have a lab, you can't do anything. You can. At the end of the day, it's about your curiosity. It's about your interest, what you want to do. If you are doing the things for right reasons, you will not require any infrastructure or anything. You'll do it.
The internet is a unlimited, powerful resource for students. And I think when exploring what's already out there, you can also think about your own context and your own community, and maybe, you know, bringing your own cultural background to the study of the particular subject, right? And bringing out that hook as well. Can put your own spin on maybe research that's already been done, but not in this particular way or not in this particular niche and area. I also liked what you mentioned about where is the field going, right? Like the future of whatever subject you're interested. I think there's a role for revering and recognizing the past and the history of one's field and appreciating the work that has been done by the greats, figures in science or social science research, but then also have that very future-facing mindset of, okay, you know, what direction does it look like appear to be going in, right? Like, is biotechnology really moving in this direction? And how can I, as a young scholar, be a part of driving this field forward, right? And adding new innovation and novel ideas that can really change the world in ways it hasn't already.